The history and superstition of Friday the 13th, a day of fear and fascination. Friday the 13th has long been regarded as an ominous date in many cultures around the world. The combination of the day Friday and the number 13 has spurred countless myths, superstitions, and folklore that evoke fear, mystery, and even intrigue. From tales of witches, ghosts, and curses to modern horror films and spiritual beliefs, Friday the 13th is steeped in a rich history that continues to captivate people across generations. But alongside the negative connotations, there are also positive beliefs and fascinating superstitions that challenge the fear surrounding this date. In this report, we will explore the global significance of Friday the 13th, its spiritual associations, and the impact of the famous horror film franchise of the same name. The origins of Friday the 13th superstition. The superstition surrounding Friday the 13th can be traced back centuries, with the origins of the fear linked to both the number 13 and the day Friday separately, which were considered unlucky long before they were associated together. The number 13. The fear of the number 13, known as triskaidekaphobia, is one of the most widely recognized superstitions. Many believe that the number 13 has been considered unlucky due to its association with disruption and imbalance. In numerology, 12 is often seen as a perfect number representing completeness. There are 12 months in a year, 12 zodiac signs, 12 apostles in Christianity, and 12 gods of Olympus in Greek mythology. The number 13, being one more than 12, disrupts this completeness and is seen as irregular or chaotic. Religious traditions have also contributed to this belief. In Christianity, at the Last Supper, 13 people were seated at the table, Jesus and his 12 apostles, and Judas Iscariot, the betrayer, was the 13th guest. This event, which preceded the crucifixion of Jesus, has led to the belief that having 13 people at a table is unlucky, as it may result in misfortune or death. The day Friday. The day Friday itself has been historically viewed with suspicion, particularly in Western cultures. In Christianity, Good Friday is observed as the day of Jesus Christ's crucifixion, a day of mourning and reflection. Some have suggested that this association with the death of Jesus helped cement Friday's reputation as an unlucky day. Other reasons for Friday's bad reputation stem from various myths and legends. In medieval times, Friday was considered an unfavorable day to begin a journey or start a new project. Sailors, for instance, would avoid setting sail on Fridays, believing it could bring misfortune. In Norse mythology, Friday was linked to Frigg, the goddess of love and fertility, and later became associated with witchcraft and paganism, furthering its connection to superstition. The combination, Friday the 13th, the fusion of Friday and the number 13 is believed to have become widely feared during the 19th century. One of the earliest documented instances of this superstition appeared in 1907 with the publication of Thomas W. Lawson's novel Friday the 13th, which tells the story of a stockbroker who exploits the superstition to create panic in the stock market. Although there is no clear, singular event that led to the widespread fear of this specific day, the combination of two unlucky elements, Friday and 13, seems to have been enough to spark a cultural fear that endures to this day. Some believe that it is simply the accumulation of centuries of negative connotations that has led to the anxiety surrounding Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th in pop culture, the horror film franchise. No conversation about Friday the 13th would be complete without mentioning the Friday the 13th horror film franchise, which has had a massive influence on popular culture. The first film, released in 1980 and directed by Sean S. Cunningham, tells the story of Camp Crystal Lake, a summer camp plagued by a series of mysterious murders. The antagonist, Jason Voorhees, is a central figure in the series, though he doesn't become the primary villain until the sequel. Jason, wearing his infamous hockey mask, is a relentless killer who seeks revenge for the tragic death of his mother, making him a symbol of fear that has become synonymous with the date Friday the 13th. The Friday the 13th series has since grown into a multimedia franchise, including numerous sequels, novels, comic books, and a television series. The image of Jason Voorhees has become iconic, and the films have cemented Friday the 13th in modern pop culture as a day of horror, suspense, and terror. Interestingly, The success of the film series has reinforced many of the superstitions surrounding Friday the 13th, while also giving them new life in the form of entertainment. For many people, watching the Friday the 13th movies has become a tradition on the day itself, turning fear into a source of enjoyment. Spiritual and paranormal associations. Beyond the Hollywood portrayal of Friday the 13th, the day also holds significant meaning in the spiritual and paranormal worlds. Witches and ghosts. In some cultures, Friday the 13th is associated with witchcraft and the occult. The connection between Friday and witches dates back to the Norse goddess Frigg, from whom the name Friday is derived. Frigg, also known as Freya, was often linked to magic, fertility, and witchcraft. As Christianity spread, pagan gods and goddesses were demonized, and Friday became a day associated with witches and their rituals. One widespread myth is that witches gather in groups of 13. This belief has its origins in medieval Europe, where witch hunts were common. These groups, called covens, were thought to meet on Friday the 13th to perform black magic or summon spirits. Though there is no historical evidence to support this, the superstition persists, contributing to the eerie reputation of the date. In addition to witches, ghosts and supernatural occurrences are often linked to Friday the 13th. It is said that the veil between the spirit world and the physical world is thinner on this day, making it easier for ghosts to communicate with the living. Some people claim to experience heightened paranormal activity on Friday the 13th, including ghost sightings, strange noises, or unexplained events. Tarot and numerology. For those who follow tarot and numerology, the number 13 is not necessarily a sign of bad luck. In the tarot deck, the 13th card is the Death card, which represents transformation, change, and new beginnings, rather than literal death. Many believe that Friday the 13th can be a powerful day for personal growth, reflection, and spiritual awakening. In numerology, 13 can be viewed as a number of transitions, a bridge between the old and the new. People who subscribe to this belief may use Friday the 13th as a day to meditate, set intentions, or engage in self-improvement practices. Positive aspects of Friday the 13th. While much of the lore surrounding Friday the 13th focuses on misfortune, there are also positive interpretations and practices associated with the day.